Well, a very, very happy Monday morning. Welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Boy, how about those Padres? Holy Toledo. They swept away the Colorado Rockies, three straight shutouts. Padres on fire right now. Best record in baseball at 13-3. More what we were hoping for coming out of the gates. But man, I mean, this right now equals the best start in Padres franchise history. You go back to 1998, the team that got to the World Series that year and got beat up by the Yankees. They started out 13-3. Padres playing some great baseball. The pitching has been off the chart. You go back to Friday night, Nick Pivetta coming off that dreadful start where he lasted only 3 innings at Wrigley Field a week ago. He went out there and tossed a gem. Padres won the ball game 8-0, and then Kyle Hart, who pitched even worse than Pivetta the next day at Wrigley Field, where he lasted only 2/3 of an inning and gave up 5 earned runs. He came out and tossed 6 innings of one-hit ball. Padres won the game 2-0, and then yesterday, Padres get another outstanding effort on the mound. For Michael King, his first complete game shutout of his career. Fantastic. Gives the bullpen a day off. And now they got the Chicago Cubs coming to town, fresh off taking 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They got beat in game one. They got shut out on Friday night. They came back on Saturday and bulldozed the Dodgers 16-0. Dodgers' worst shutout loss at home in Dodger career of the franchise. How about that? And then last night on Sunday Night Baseball, Pete Crow Armstrong, kid from Harvard Westlake up in L.A., good young player. Saw him when he was a sophomore at Harvard Westlake. Hit a couple of home runs, had a triple last night. Dodgers get beat 4-2. Dodgers reeling a little bit right now, but right now the Padres are just playing great baseball. They're getting contributions from everybody, and we're going to get into that. Also, want to make sure that you get your questions into me today. A lot of things going on with this ball club. And, like we've said before, you're going to have the peaks and valleys. You're going to play some great baseball. Then maybe you're going to scuff a little bit. Guys aren't hitting with runners in scoring position, or your starting pitching isn't as good, or you burp up a game coming out of the bullpen. Padres right now are doing great. On the field, they've been great. Now they got to keep guys on the field. That's the big problem. I said on Friday, the Padres were telling us after the game on Wednesday that it looked like Tatis and Cronenworth would be back in the lineup on Friday night. And I go, we'll wait until we see them on the field. Well, Fernando played and played well over the weekend, but Cronenworth ended up going on the IL for 10 days. It could be longer. He's got a non-displaced fracture in his right rib. He got hit by Brown, that right-hander from the Cubs, a week ago yesterday on Sunday. He played Monday night, hit a home run, played Tuesday, hit a ground ball, and had to come out of the ball game, MRI, non-displaced rib fracture. So he's down. So you got Jose Iglesias, who had a heck of a weekend, I might add. But, I mean, there's not one thing you can say about this Padre ball club negatively. Yeah, we could talk about this guy or that guy, maybe not, swinging the bat as well as we thought. Defensively, they've been fantastic. They're getting contributions out of both Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz behind the plate. I mean, everything is going well for the Padres right now, and we got to love what they're doing. I mean, they're aggressive on the base paths. I mean, everything. I mean, I couldn't be happier with this ball club, but you got to keep guys healthy. Now, Jackson Merrill. Here's the story on Jackson Merrill. He is eligible to come off the IL on Friday. Not sure that's going to happen at this point in time. We'll wait and see as the week progresses, but from what I understand, not able really to explode in running drills right now. In fact, they're not even allowing him to try. And he hadn't taken batting practice. So maybe that hamstring was a little bit worse than they first said it was. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So we'll have to wait and see. But then yesterday, and we'll get into Brandon Lockridge, he hurt a hamstring. And we'll get into that in a minute. But, just kind of recapping Friday night, 8-0. Padres out hit Colorado 10-3. Kyle Farmer was the only guy in the Rockies lineup that got hits. He had all 3 hits. Padres 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Padres put the game away in the 5th inning when they scored 6 runs. The floodgates open when Rockies catcher Hunter Goodman charged with catcher's interference while Jason Heyward is at play. Then he had a throwing error, and the Padres blew it up. Pivetta, fantastic. Another dominating performance. 7 innings, 3 hits, a walk, 10 punch-outs. Yuki Matsui came in, struck out the side. Alec Jacob threw a perfect ninth inning with a couple of punch-outs. I mean, bottom line, that bullpen, best in baseball right now. Padres starting pitching, been fantastic. And we're going to get into the starters for this series. I'll tell you this, with the Cubs coming to town, Cubs are playing great, and they put some runs on the board. This will be a very tough series for the Padres. And in contrast, it'll be a tough series for the Cubs as well. But we'll get to those pitching matchups a little bit later on. Friday night, Fernando, his third homer, a couple of runs scored, had 2 hits. Manny Machado, an RBI double in that first inning. Gavin Sheets, 2 for 3, a homer. Getting it done in a big way. Jose Iglesias, a couple of RBIs with 2 hits on Friday night. And Elias Diaz, a double and 2 RBIs. So that was Friday night. Padres won at 8-0. Then Saturday, Fernando led the game off. Bottom of the first, Padres ended up scoring a 2-0 victory. Fernando led off on that 3-2 pitch, drilled it over the center field wall, and then Jason Heyward hit his first of the year in the 5th. That was all the Padres needed. They actually were out hit by the Rockies that night, 4-3. Kyle Hart, 6 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts, fantastic. Lowered his ERA. It was over 11 going in. It came out at 5.40. Once again, the bullpen, Jeremiah Estrada an inning, Jason Adam an inning. Robert Suarez did give up his first 2 hits of the year, but he was able to get out of the 9th inning with his 7th save of the year. Offensively, Saturday night, not a whole lot. I mean, Fernando had the homer. Luis Vries had a hit. Jason Heyward had a hit, and that was about all she wrote for the Padres offensively. And then yesterday, Michael King threw a 2-hitter. And I'm so glad that Mike Schilt let him finish the game. I mean, he could have come and got him. Once that one runner got on in the 9th inning, he could have, went and got him. But he looked at kind of where they're at on off days, and he let King finish. King yesterday ended up, throwing, I think 110 pitches. 110 pitches, 69 strikes. And he was dealing. His strikeout numbers weren't, crazy yesterday. He had 8 yesterday, but he got his ERA down to 2.42. He came in at 4.05, and I'll be the first one to admit, he did not have a great spring training. And he thought he was throwing the ball better at the end of spring training, but the results weren't there. And I know spring training results, you can take them with a grain of salt, but, he wasn't really throwing the way we've seen him throw last year. And, even in his last start, he wasn't that sharp. Yesterday, it was Michael King of what we saw in 2024. Now, I had somebody bring up a question, what about Michael King next year? Well, I can tell you this. Michael King is making just under $8 million this year. He worked out that mutual option with the Padres before the season started for $15 million. Now, I got news for you. There's no way he would accept that for next year unless he got hurt and was coming off an injury. Because not only is it a mutual option for $15 million, there's a buyout. Now, think about this. I don't know why teams do this. I guess just try to get a guy under contract and at least get a draft pick for him if he leaves. But if Michael King, doesn't want to pick up his part of the mutual option after this year, check this out. He gets $3.75 million to say, no, I don't want to pitch for the Padres. Now, he could also opt out, renegotiate with the Padres. He'd still get his $3.75 million. He could sign a long-term contract. But the way yesterday went, and that was big. I mean, I was watching Sunday Night Baseball last night, and I was listening to David Cohn, the longtime New York Met, Kansas City Royal, and New York Yankee. And when they brought up, Carl Ravitch brought up that King threw a complete game 2-hitter, David Cohn goes, get the baseball and put it on the mantle. That doesn't happen very often. And for Michael King, he was working as a starter a little bit with the Yankees, out of the bullpen. I mean, yesterday, that was his first complete game of his career. And now he's 3-0 and dropped the ERA down to 2.42. So, I mean, the way he pitched yesterday, I don't expect him to do that every game, but that was a hell of an effort yesterday. And the Padres won the game 6-0. They out hit him 11-2. Somebody, Buddy Black's a real good personal friend of mine. And I had a couple of people text me last night. They go, "You think Buddy's going to last there?" Well, a couple of things. Watching that series, he doesn't have a lot. I mean, he only got a few guys that can really play, and you got a lot of guys trying to learn to play at the big league level. They're not going to ever get out of last place the way these other teams are playing, and they've been in last place. Last couple of years, they've lost 100+ games, and they're definitely on their way to do that again. And a couple of people texted me last night that know Buddy and know me and go, "Do you think he's going to last?" I go, "Well, a couple of things. Number one, they love Buddy Black in Colorado. The ownership group loves him. And it's really not his fault. I mean, the bottom line, everybody in baseball knows it's not Buddy Black's fault. Buddy Black's a damn good manager and great baseball man. But at some point in time, you may have to make a change. Even though it's not Buddy's fault, you may need to at least send to your fan base, we're trying here. But man, they got a lot of problems there with Colorado. They got a beautiful ballpark. There's a lot of good things about the Rockies, but it sure isn't on the field right now. I don't know if you've ever been to Coors Field. I've been there a few different times. Really fun ballpark. The fans come out. They come from all over to watch the Rockies play. And it's kind of sad that they're as bad as they are. But Padres did what they needed to do. They shut them out 3 games in a row. And I guarantee you when they go to Coors Field later in the year, the Rockies will be ready to play. Their young guys will get better. They'll continue to work and toil. But it was a rough weekend all the way around. But, I want to take a look at the 3 pitchers that threw over the weekend and just kind of go through their games individually. Nick Pivetta improved to 2-1, 1.59 ERA. Coming off, as I mentioned, that really bad start at Wrigley Field where they only lasted 3 innings. It really didn't have a whole lot. Friday night, he went out there, 7 innings, 3 hits, a walk, 10 punch-outs, 88 pitches. That's a hell of an effort. 62 strikes, pounding the strike zone. Padres win 8-0. Just stay healthy. He threw great. And Iglesias doing a great job behind the plate, both on Friday and Sunday, catching the shutouts. Then Saturday. Now, Kyle Hart had to go to the mound with a lot of pressure on him. He lasted 2/3 of an inning last time out and gave up 5 earned runs at Wrigley Field. Couldn't get out of the first inning. But he went out there the other night and did a great job of mixing, matching, getting ahead, working ahead in the count through 74 pitches, 49 strikes, 6 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Goes to 2-0. Drops that ERA from over 11 down to 5.40. That was great. And you know what? I think the more he's out there, the better he's going to get. And I'm not saying he's going to win, 15 games this year, but he's a 5th starter. And he's 2-0 right now. And, he's had some good starts and he's had, a clunker, a real clunker. But nonetheless, he's a 5th starter. We're not asking him to be Sandy Koufax. And then yesterday, Michael King, complete game, 2-hit shutout. What more could a guy want? And again, I go back to Mike Schultz. Very happy that he allowed King to finish that ball game. 2 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. 3-0, 2.42. So good stuff right there. Okay, now I want to get to some guys that I thought had a pretty good weekend. And we're going to start with Jose Iglesias. Now, I told you when the Padres signed him, I was fired up. The Padres, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you go back to 2023, this guy was looking for a major league job. And the year before, he hit 293 for Colorado. The guy couldn't find a major league job. And the bottom line, this guy's a great defender. He can second now where he's at in his career. He's better at second. He can still play a little shortstop if you need him occasionally, but he's not going to run him out there every day. We've already seen him play third. He had a great weekend. Iglesias hitting 292 right now. Friday night, 2 for 4, an RBI, a run scored. Saturday, went 0 for 3, and then yesterday, 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, 2 walks, 2 RBIs. The weekend, Jose Iglesias filling in for Cronenworth, 4 for 9, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 4 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Guy knows how to play. He's a veteran, been around a long time, had some good years in the big leagues. But yeah, in 2023, the Padres had him. They had him down in AAA. And he opted out couldn't find another organization to get him to the big leagues. And then he re-signed with the Padres and, didn't even finish the year with them that year. It was kind of weird. And then last year he hooks on with the Mets and hits 337 in 92 games and played great. Had a hard time finding a contract. I mean, like Anthony Rizzo doesn't have a contract right now. Why isn't Anthony Rizzo under contract? Somebody got to want Anthony Rizzo. He's going to sign at some point. There are rumors he could go back to the Cubs. We'll have to wait and see on that. Now, Jason Heyward. We had a sighting of him over the weekend. Jason Heyward hitting 206 right now. Friday night 0 for 3. Saturday 1 for 2. A walk, hit his first homer of the year. Yesterday came in late in the ball game, pinch hitter, RBI single to right. Nick Martini unable to come up with a sliding catch out there in right field. Heyward right now hitting 206. That's not bad. He was hitting 130 last week. So maybe, a little more playing time, he's going to find his stroke and help out a little bit. I'm not asking Jason Heyward to hit 300 or even hit 270. Hit 240. Hit 240 and he'll help this ball club. Now, we got to get to Brandon Lockridge. Brandon Lockridge doing a good job in center field. And again, we don't know when Merrill's actually coming back. As I mentioned earlier, he is eligible on Friday, but it sounds like things are going slow with him. Not sure he'll be ready for the road trip. That was their first intention, but again, they're saying that you're not able to really explode yet running. Hasn't been taking batting practice. Maybe tonight he'll take BP or tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see what the reports are, and we'll see if we see him out there. But Lockridge, he left yesterday's game on Sunday with a hamstring. And right now, the ball club is calling it low-grade left hamstring strain. Now, he may feel better today or he may feel worse. Probably going to be stiff and sore. There is some inflammation in it. They ran some tests last night right after the ball game. And so it's a day-to-day thing. Hopefully he doesn't have to go on the IL. And Lockridge's not going to give you a whole lot of offense. Well, I'll tell you, though, this guy plays his ass off. He really does. He hustles, one of the faster guys in baseball, and he's grinding. He's trying to make some things happen. Over the weekend, his one hit was a bunt base hit. He's 1 for 9 with a walk and 3 strikeouts. Not going to give you a whole lot offensively. He's hitting right now at this point in time after yesterday's ball game. He's hitting 194. And we don't expect him to, hit 250 or 260. But we expect him to play great defense, move runners along, steal a base when you're on base, and, be, a guy that can help the ball club any way, shape, or form. But he's not going to hit too many home runs, not going to drive in too many runs, not going to hit for much of an average. But the guy's a good outfielder. He's a good 4th or 5th outfielder, but right now he's having to play every day. So now the question comes, who's going to play center field? I don't expect Lockridge in there tonight. So are you going to put Jason Heyward out there? Are you going to move Fernando over? What are you going to do? We'll have to wait and see till the lineup comes out tonight. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. I would think maybe Jason Heyward for the short term. Because Padres really don't have anybody down in the minor leagues right now. I will tell you this, Connor Joe is not swinging the bat all that well. He's hitting 240 right now in AAA. He played center field on Sunday. And they even had Eggy Rosario out in the outfield at a point in time last week. Okay, we got to get to our weekly update. And I've got more than just on Ethan Salas and Leo Vries. Now, I want to state this right now. I'm big fans of both of these guys. And I'm gonna sink or swim with these guys because I really believe from a baseball standpoint, these guys are the real deal. But both guys have gotten off to bad starts. Salas did have one game last week where he went 3 for 5, but right now in 24 at bats, he's 5 for 24. He's hitting 208. No homers, no extra base hits. Got 5 RBIs and a couple of stolen bases. And he's coming off a season last year in high A ball. He's in San Antonio. He's in Double A right now. I would have, and I've said this, and I'll say it again. Should have started him in high A ball again. Let him prove that he can get his feet on the ground offensively, and then bring him up to Double A the second half of the year if he has a good first half in Fort Wayne. But they decided to go to San Antonio, and he's going to get better. He's going to get better. I like this guy a lot. I really do. I like his swing. I like his approach. It's not hitting right now. But he's 18 years old, and Vries is 18 years old. So I went back and I looked at Ethan's career numbers right now, and that's coming off a bad year. He only has 690 career bats at professional baseball. And right now he's got a 222 average, 13 homers, 99 RBIs, and 653 OPS. Not very good. But we know that this guy's going to be a dynamite catcher. He can catch, he can throw, got quick feet, got a powerful arm. He just needs time. And again, I'm not going to give up on Ethan Salas. I know he's gone down in the big rankings. Every year he's going down, slip a little bit. I like this guy, and I think he's going to be a hell of a player. I really do. And then you get to Leo Vries. Here's another guy, 18 years of age, hadn't turned 19 yet. He's a shortstop. You didn't realize how difficult to play shortstop at any level of baseball is? And this kid's in high A ball at 18. He's a switch hitter. So far, not having a good offensive year. Hitting 172, only 29 at bats, no homers, couple of RBIs, a stolen base, and OPS of 422. He did a pretty good job last year when he was in Lake Elsinore. But minor league career so far, only 328 at bats, 232 average, 11 homers, 40 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, 770 OPS. I give you these numbers because these guys are going to be players, and I'm not giving up on them. I know they're paltry numbers right now, but these guys are going to be good. I mean, if you saw him in spring training, the guy got so much talent, it's scary. And you just need to give him time to develop. And I'm all about development. I don't want to see guys rushed. I'd rather see a guy repeat a league and make sure he understands the nuances of the game and really learns the game than just force feed these guys because they're supposed to be big prospects. And then they struggle. Then they lose confidence. Then you got to send them down. So let's just go slow with these guys. Give them an opportunity to be great. Let's don't rush them. Couple of other guys I wanted to mention. Luis Campusano had a big day yesterday. 3 for 5, a double, a homer, and he is just tearing the cover off the baseball. This guy's a career 303 minor league hitter. And we know he struggled the last few years with the Padres. He struggled so bad last year that he ended up getting sent down and wasn't even on the playoff roster. But Campy right now is hitting 395 in El Paso with an 1164 OPS. He's got 3 homers already, 9 RBIs, and getting the job done in 43 at-bats. He's done a lot of damage in only 43 at-bats. Now, a local guy, Trenton Brooks from Granite Hills, he's just off to a massive start. He's hitting 353, 5 homers, 17 RBIs, and an OPS of 1191. Man, Trenton Brooks, he's pushing to get an opportunity to come up here. And then I mentioned Connor Joy played center field yesterday. Right now, hitting in 50 at-bats, he's hitting 240 with no homers. So, and Terso Ornelas right now hitting 270. And they hit, I think he's got 1 homer right now. So there you have it. Okay, I mentioned the Cubs coming to town. Cubs are in first place right now in the National League Central. 11-7, playing great baseball. Pitching matchups for the Cubs series. Now, I'm going to tell you, the Padres are going to be tested, and they're going to be tested in a big way. Tonight, Monday night, 6:40, right-hander Jameson Taillon, 1-1 with a 6.06 ERA, going against right-hander Dylan Cease, 1-1 and a 7.98. I don't know if you've seen Dylan Cease since he shaved his beard off. Doesn't even look like him. I mean, doesn't even look like him. And really, he's got the prospect look. He looks like he's like 18 years old. And he wanted to change things up after his worst start of his major league career last week up in Sacramento. I mean, you look at those numbers. He went 4 innings, 9 hits, and 9 earned runs. Worst start of his career. He also threw in 13 walks. That was last week. 9 earned runs. He goes into the game tonight, 1-1 record in a 7.98 ERA. Okay, that's tonight. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Oh, man. You got the left-hander Shota Imanaga, who's just pitching out of his tail right now. 2-1 with a 2.70 ERA. This guy's tough. And then you've got right-hander Randy Vasquez coming off that marvelous performance last week up in Sacramento. 1-1 with a 1.72 ERA. Randy Vasquez, man, doing a hell of a job. And then the getaway day on Wednesday, going to be left-hander Matt Boyd, 1-1 with a 1.59 going against Nick Pivetta, 2-1 and a 1.59. That'll be at 110. Monday and Tuesday at 6:40. Wednesday will be at 110. Padres off On Thursday, start a 6-game road trip, 3 in Houston, 3 in Detroit, off on April 24th, and then back home on the 25th to start a 3-game series against Tampa Bay. And then on the 29th and 30th, they'll host Bob Melvin and the San Francisco Giants. So there you have it. Okay. Dodgers. Dodgers reeling right now. Freddie Freeman in and out of the lineup. They're taking it easy with him on that ankle. They're reeling right now. Yamamoto threw a gem on Friday night. Sasaki did a nice job for 5 innings, gave up 1 run on Saturday, and then the roof caved in on Ben Kasperius. He got banged all over the ballpark. Then they brought in Miguel Rojas, who threw a shutout inning in the 8th, and then got beat up for 5 runs in the 9th. Dodgers, worst home shutout loss in franchise history, 16-0. They got beat last night 4-2. Glasnow did not look good. I don't know what his problem is, but the Cubs just are playing better baseball than the Dodgers right now. Angels over the weekend, they dropped 2 of 3 down there in Houston. They're going to be starting a 3-game series against the Texas Rangers. Angels playing some good baseball, though, and we'll get to the standings right now. And we're going to start off in the National League. Okay, and I'm going to give you standings for all 3 divisions in both the American and National League. Just kind of take a nice little overview, and then we're going to get out to your questions. National League standings. East, New York Mets sitting right now at 10-5. They've won 8 of their last 10. You know, why do I root against the Mets? Oh, I know, because of Juan Soto. That's why. I like their manager. I think their manager is really good. Philadelphia 9-6, a game back. Miami playing good baseball. They're 8-7, 2 games back. Washington, they got a nice young ball club, but they're very inconsistent. They're 6-9. They're 4 games back, and then the Atlanta Braves. Wow, 4-11, 6 games back. So the Mets right now 1-game lead over Philadelphia. I don't expect Miami to hang in there. I expect the Braves to start playing better baseball, but yeah, right now it looks like it could end up being a 2-team race between the Mets and Philadelphia, because I don't see Miami being able to stay in it all year long. Okay, Central, the Cubs 11-7, won 2 straight. They're a plus 43. Well, at 16 runs the other night against the Dodgers obviously helped, but they're plus 43 right now in run differential. Milwaukee and the Cincinnati Reds both 8-8, 2 games back. St. Louis 7-8, 2.5 games back. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, everybody kind of was jumping on their bandwagon. Oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Well, I'll tell you what, manager Shelton better start getting something going, or he may get fired. They're 5-11 right now. They're already 5 games back in the Central. In the West, Padres have won 4 straight, 13-3. Plus 30 run differential for our Padres. The Giants sitting at 11-4. They took 2 out of 3 over the weekend at Yankee Stadium. They're a game and a half back. Dodgers 11-6, 2.5 games back. Arizona 9-7, 4 games back. In Colorado 3-12, 9.5 games back. And how about Colorado? They're already minus 44 in run differential. Jeez. AL East. You got the Toronto Blue Jays at 9-7, and Vladimir Guerrero signing that new long-term contract. They're playing well. Yankees 8-7, a half game back. Boston 8-9, game and a half back. Tampa Bay 7-8, a game and a half back. And Baltimore bringing up the rear right now, 6-9, 2.5 games back. Okay, let's go over to the American League Central. Detroit. Padres are going to see Detroit on the next road trip. They're a good ball club. 9-6 right now for A.J. Hinch's ball club. Cleveland at 8-7. Then you got the Kansas City Royals at 8-8. Minnesota 5-11. They're not real happy with that ball club. And the Chicago White Sox, Will Venable, in his maiden journey as a manager, 4-11 right now. I don't really expect a whole lot from the White Sox. They're 5 games back. Minnesota in 4th, 4.5 back. Kansas City, a game and a half back. And Cleveland, 1 game back of leading Detroit at this point in time. Detroit's going to be a playoff team. I like that team. They grind it out. And A.J. Hinch is a great baseball man, done a nice job there with the Tigers the last couple of years. AL West, how about the Angels? 9-6, lead the division by a half game right now over Texas. Bruce Bochy's ball club, they got swept 3 games over the weekend up in Seattle. Seattle 8-8, a game and a half back. Houston 2 games back at 7-8, and the Athletics at 6-10. 3.5 back. So there you have it. Angels right now are 9-6, but they're -3 in run differential. So I wanted to get you caught up on that. Okay, let's get some questions today. I'm sure there are a lot of questions out there of what's going on in the world of sports. And everybody wants to talk about the Padres. We're going to get to the Masters here in a minute. Tyler, do you think Michael King could get an extension before the end of the season? Boy, that I don't know. Number one, I don't know if Michael King wants to negotiate. His representative may say, you know what, you're 3-0. You're coming off a complete game shutout. Let's wait. Let's roll the dice. Let's see what's out there. He knows that the Padres are going to pick up $15 million. If not, he gets $3.75 million. I mean, the best case for Michael King right now would be to have a good year, opt out, get a free $3.75 million, and then, go out in the free agent market and probably sign a, 3 or 4 or 5 year deal for, $25 million a year if it's out there, or at least $20 million a year. Maybe you get like a Joe Musgrove deal, $20 million for 5 years, $100 million plus 3.75 the Padres would have to pay him if he opted out. Remember, it's a mutual option, so both parties have to agree. But I don't know. It'd be good news. I think Padre fans would love to hear that Michael King signing a 3-year contract extension for $75 million. But are the Padres in that position right now? The other thing that I wanted to bring up, Tyler, and I'm glad you brought up Michael King's contract. You see Sheil Seidler was at the ball game the other night? She was taking pictures with A.J. Preller. She was down on the field. So are there some things going on behind the scenes that we're unaware of? I don't know. But it was a good sign to see her back at the ballpark because I thought she might have been persona non grata after this lawsuit. And we haven't heard word one about this lawsuit. But she was at the ballpark the other night and took a nice photo with A.J. Preller. So I don't know where that's headed, but we're going to find out. But I'd love to hear that the Padres are signing him to a long-term contract. Tommy, should we bring Darvish back ASAP or just be happy he's back in September? Well, the way you're playing right now, there's no reason to rush Darvish. And I think they're going to slow play it. You want to keep as many bullets in his gun as we possibly can. Besides, he wants to go watch his son pitch at Cathedral. Got to give him a little time to have some family time, go watch his boy pitch. Heard he pitched pretty well the other day. But no, Darvish is making progress, but there's no need to rush this guy. I mean, you got guys doing the job. And how about Matt Waldron? Remember when he hurt that oblique? They said, well, he's not throwing, but it's not as bad as we thought. Well, the other day, to open up a roster spot for Oscar Gonzalez, they put Waldron on the 60-day IL. So is he healthy or is he not healthy? Is he making progress? Is he not making progress? I thought he was going to be coming back. But no, I'm not going to rush you, Darvish, at all. Not at all. All right, keep those questions coming. Okay, I got to bring this up. And I'm not the biggest golf fan in the world. I watched the final round of the Farmers Insurance Open. I watched the U.S. Open, maybe the British Open. I watch the majors. But you got to always watch the Masters, okay? So I was going back and forth between the Lakers, who got beat up. They didn't play anybody yesterday because they'd already wrapped up the 3rd seed in the West. I'm going to get to that here shortly. I got to crow about my Lakers a little bit. But I was going back and forth early the Laker game, and I knew they were going to get blowout. So I just focused on the Padres. But then when they go, at the end of an inning, I'd go back to the Masters. And, I'm going back and forth. The wife and I were sitting here watching the game and watching the Masters. And so anyways, 89th Masters. And I was on KUSI yesterday morning with Allie Wagner, and she asked me, what do you think? And, at the end of the day, Bryson DeChambeau was 2 strokes back going to the final round, right behind Rory McIlroy. And you knew it was going to come down to it, the end. But I didn't know Justin Rose was going to play out of his mind yesterday. And McIlroy didn't have a great round, but he had a good enough round to finish tied, and he ended up winning the one-hole playoff 4-3. Okay, over Justin Rose. Justin Rose, what do you have, like 10 birdies yesterday? That's crazy. But that was so emotional and so pressure. I don't know what the TV ratings were, but I'm going to find out, and we'll talk about them on Wednesday. But that was really good. A kid from Northern Ireland, and they talked a lot about his mom and dad, doing everything possible to give this kid every opportunity in the world to be the greatest golfer he could be. And man, he had a monkey on his back for a decade. It was 11th try to win the Masters. He'd won the other three majors in 11 times. It finally took before he was able to win the green jacket. And that was cool. And when he missed that putt on 18, I'm going, oh no. And Justin Rose is hotter than a baker's apron. He was over on the practice. He was over working on the practice round, just hitting balls, staying loose, and working on his putting a little bit. And then they go to the sudden death hole, and McIlroy knocks the putt in to win it. It goes to his knees. It was amazing, amazing. And he only becomes the sixth person to win the Grand Slam, winning the four majors. Gene Sarazen, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. And it was really, really cool. And, like I said, I'm not a big golf fan, but I do watch the majors and, I know who the guys are. But I'll tell you the other thing. I kind of lost a little interest when they went to Live Golf and all the big name guys went over the Live Golf circuit. And I started watching the PGA, and there were very few guys I even knew who they were. And they're great golfers. They just didn't have a big national name. But now they're starting to, get their opportunities. They're winning tournaments. Some of the guys that, you had never heard of before. But man, it'd sure be nice if you get all these great golfers playing against one another, one way or the other. Figure it out. Because I don't think Live Golf is going to go away. In the PGA Tour, they still got a lot of great golfers. They just don't have the brand names of some of the guys that took the big money and went to Live Golf. But Rory McIlroy is one of those guys that stayed with the PGA, and he was rewarded rather nicely. Got over $4 million. I think it was over, 4.2 million he got. And Justin Rose, I don't know if you saw the interview with Justin Rose afterwards. Man, what a gracious guy. What a great human being. I was so impressed with him. I mean, you really find out what a person's like when, things don't go their way. That guy had class all the way. I was so impressed with him. So that was a really cool moment on Sunday watching Rory McIlroy win the Masters, finally get his career Grand Slam and put his name up there with the greatest golfers in the history of the game. Okay. What else we got? We got Lakers. And we got to let's get to, we'll get to Lakers, but I want to get to Coach's Mailbag too. Lakers finished. Now we'll get to Coach's Mailbag in a minute. Let's go to the Lakers here real quick. Lakers finished the regular season 50-32. That's a good year. They're in the Western Conference playoffs. Third seed, and they're going to take on Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. That'll be in the first round. That'll, I believe, get started next weekend. I'm not sure if it's Saturday, Sunday. We'll get that to you. But Lakers are playing good. They didn't play any of the big boys yesterday. Doncic didn't play. LeBron didn't play. Dalton Knecht did play, but they played all their backup guys yesterday. Got beat up in Portland. So a good regular season for the Lakers, and J.J. Redick in his first year as an NBA head coach. Now the Clippers, I'll tell you what, everybody kind of wrote off the Clippers. And the Clippers are playing great basketball. They finished with the identical record of the Lakers. In fact, there were three teams in the West that finished with a 50-32 mark. Now, because of the tiebreakers and head-to-head and all that, Lakers get the fifth seed. Denver, after they fire Michael Malone and give Dave Adelman the interim head coaching title, who was an assistant on Michael Malone's staff, they finished 50-32. So Denver will have home court advantage against the Clippers. But, man, Ty Lue did a nice job with that team. And they had a lot of injuries. They dealt with a lot, and they finished 50-32, just like the Lakers. But let's remember, in L.A., it's only one NBA team, according to most of the fans, and that's the Los Angeles Lakers. But the Clippers could do some damage. As long as Kawhi can stay on the court, Norman Powell, I love Norman Powell. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. I wish LeBron would have let people know that he couldn't play in the All-Star game, because Norman Powell very well could have been an All-Star this year. He's never made an All-Star team. Kid out of Lincoln High and UCLA. Great player. Great player. Let's get to Coach's Mailbag. Love this mailbag. Okay, Smith, has the bullpen surprised you this year so far? Yeah. I didn't expect them to be the best in baseball to this point. Yeah, they've surprised me. And I'm really happy for Robert Suarez because he came into the year a lot of naysayers, a lot of question marks, even though the guy, had 38 saves a year ago. He's been awesome. Finally gave up a couple of hits the other night. No runs, but, uh, Estrada's been good. Yuki Matsui's been much better. Waldy Peralta's been better. Wandy Peralta last year had a 3.99 ERA, and you're kind of wondering, man, they gave this guy like a 3-year contract. What were they doing? Well, he's come out and done a very nice job. Alec Jacob, who's not an overpowering guy, the guy throws like 87 miles an hour. He's doing a nice job. The role he has filled it very, very nicely. So, yes, the bullpen has surprised me because I didn't expect them at this point in time after 16 games to be as dominant, let alone have the best ERA of any bullpen in baseball. Okay, get to the next one. 1990, Steven. Coach, with Heyward improving, you're feeling better about this edition? Well, I'm going to reserve judgment. But the one thing about Jason, he's not going to embarrass himself out there. He doesn't move as well. I'm kind of anxious to see if they're going to play him in center field. What are they going to do in center? I'm telling you, Mike Schild, if you're watching, do not put Fernando in center. Let him stay in right. I'll take my chance with Jason Heyward in center right now if Lockridge is out and Merrill's nowhere near coming back. I don't think you have anybody down in AAA that you're going to bring up to play center field that I'm aware of. But I'm just gonna make sure that Fernando stays in right field. But you know what? Jason Heyward's not gonna embarrass himself. He's a good teammate. He's gonna do his work. He's gonna run into one occasionally. Um, I just hope he can stay healthy and hit 230. Just hit 230, and I'm happy. Yuli Gurriel had a nice base hit yesterday for an RBI, so that was good. Okay, what else we got? Mariah, 1998. Do the Padres have one of the best home field advantages in baseball? Petco can get loud and rowdy. Mariah, I'm glad you brought that up. I almost forgot. I wrote this down. And by the way, is there anybody out there? If you are, write in right now or send me a message. Is there anybody out there that does not like the pitch clock now? The pitch clock hardly ever comes into play. It came into play with Yuki Matsui the other night. He had a pitch clock violation, but do you realize how much better baseball is with the pitch clock? The games are moving. And I'm going to bring Mariah, I'm going to bring this up because I wrote it down. Friday night, 2 hours and 7 minutes in front of 44,089. That was the sixth sellout of the year. Okay, I'm going to answer your question in a minute. Saturday night, the game took 2 hours and 12 minutes in front of 44,066, seventh sellout of the year. And yesterday on Sunday, game took 2 hours and 15 minutes in front of the eighth sellout of the year at 42,706. Okay, two things. The pitch clock is working. That's one of the rules that's actually working. It's making it a much crisper baseball. Guys are getting there, getting the job done, and moving along, and the umpires are keeping the games moving. But Mariah, to answer your question, there's no doubt. You go back to when the Padres knocked out the Dodgers a few years back. Okay, last year, obviously a home field advantage, disappointing in 2023. You go back to 2022 when the Dodgers got eliminated at Petco Park. I think the first game, the Dodgers felt, the fans were all fired up and, they're going to get tired. They're going to quit yelling and screaming. They never stopped. And I was at all those games. It was complete bedlam. And the support that the Padres are getting from you fans is unbelievable. And I've said this before, being a kid that grew up in San Diego, was at the first Padre game, April 8th, 1969, and live and die Padre baseball. Yeah, I'm there sink or swim. And we've sunk more times than we've swam, that's for sure. But for me to see the support of the Padre fans, it's heartwarming. And you fans make a difference. Not only that, the commitment to get to Petco Park. Getting to Petco Park is not easy. I don't know how you go, whether you go Uber, whether you drive and pay $50 to park in the tailgate lot or in the parkade, or you take the trolley. I don't know how you get there, but it's not easy. And if you're living, Vista or Fallbrook or Oceanside or Escondido or Poway, or, it's not easy. And deep out in the East County, it's not easy to get there. It's not like the days when you could go to Qualcomm Stadium and your dad come home at 6 o'clock and the game was at 7:10. Hey, you want to go to the game? Oh, because dad got home a little bit early. Yeah, let's go to the game. You drive up, you buy your ticket, you go in and watch a game. You can't do that anymore. You got to work ahead, and you got to leave for the ballpark no later than about 4 because it's going to take you a while to get there. And then you got to get something to eat. You might walk around to a restaurant or the Tin Fish or wherever, and get something to eat. And then you go in the ball game, and now the games are a lot quicker, and it's great for kids. I mean, all 3 of these games were under 2 hours and a half. I mean, there was no game that went beyond 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's great. Kids can stay for 9 innings. You don't have to leave at 9:35 or a quarter to 10 to get your kids home. A lot of families would leave at 9 o'clock when those games were being played at 7:10 and even 6:40. They were going 3+ hours. That's bad baseball for 9 innings. So the fans definitely make a difference. There's no doubt about it. There's some ballparks that they sell out, but the fans sit on their hands. But not at Petco Park, man. When you come to Petco Park, you're the 10th man. You really are. Okay, we got anything else today? There we go. Rich McGuire. Oscar Gonzalez looks bigger in person. I hope he'll be getting more starts in left. Well, I think he's going to get starts against left-handers. I'll tell you what. He won't probably start tonight. Well, he may have to just because of Lockridge. I don't know if they're going to make a move or put him on the IL. Lockridge made it sound like it was going to be a day-to-day situation, but the Padres may feel they need to get somebody up here. I could see Terso Ornelas getting called up. If they put Lockridge on the IL, they could bring Ornelas up. He could play in the outfield. You can move Heyward over to center. Oscar Gonzalez is a big guy, Rich. 6'4", about 240. I will tell you this. He's got a big swing. I hadn't seen him a whole lot. I saw him a little in spring training, but I watched his swing over the week. He got a big swing, and he's going to do damage when he connects, but he's going to be also, I think, susceptible to certain pitches in certain zones. I mean, I think he'll probably hit off-speed pitches okay. The slider may give him a problem because he's got a long swing. A high fastball may give him a problem. We'll see if he's able to make adjustments with Victor Rodriguez, the hitting coach. But I like what I see. But I think he's going to have to shorten that swing up to be a little bit more consistent. And I really haven't seen a 2-strike approach. I know he got a hit the other night with 2 strikes, but I don't know if he kind of widened his feet and tried to shorten up or not. I'm going to watch a little bit closer next time. But thank you very much for the question. Always appreciate that. Canis Lupus, the Pods payroll is projected to go just above the ABOV, second tier of CBT. Any chance they buy maybe another starting pitcher or bat and go way above? I don't think they're going to go way above. And again, that doesn't get counted till the end of the year. And, it was kind of interesting. Last night, they were talking on the Sunday night game. They're talking about if the Padres were to fall out of it. The Padres are 10 games over 500 right now. They got the best record in baseball. And David Cohn, Eduardo Perez, and Carl Ravitch talking, well, if the Padres were to fall out of it, they may trade King and Cease. I'm going, guys, Padres are 10 games over first. They got the best record in baseball. You're talking about them having a fire sale before the trading deadline? I know you got, time to fill, but man, couldn't you talk about how great the Padres are playing and how they're going to be on next Sunday night against the Houston Astros on national TV? Man, I mean, everybody expect the Padres to go in the tank. I don't. But, getting back to your question, they're going to count everything at the end of the year. And if the Padres go over, they're going to have to pay the freight. But I would hope that the Padre players will continue to push the envelope because really at the end of the day, the players control what the front office does, or they should control what the front office does. If the team's playing great and you can see light at the end of the rainbow, then you got to add. You got to go get, maybe that extra bat or that extra arm in the bullpen or in the starting rotation. At that point in time, we got a long ways before the trading deadline. And I'm sure AJ's working ahead. He's looking at who's going to be a free agent and what team's already fallen out of it. What can they go get? I mean, there's talk that the Dodgers are still debating whether or not they had to go get Luis Robert from the White Sox. Now, Robert's been underperforming. He had a bad year last year. He's hurt a lot. But he goes to the Dodgers. Maybe he finds the fountain of youth. Not an old guy, but is supposed to have been one of the best players in baseball, and it hasn't worked out for him. Got a great talent, but, maybe with the White Sox organization, that hasn't helped matters. But the front office has to go with the way the ball club is. If the ball club's playing well, they're in first, second, they're in a wild card, you got to go get help. Now, if you're 10 games under 500 at the come trading deadline, and you're going to move seats, you're going to move Michael King, but that's not going to happen. This team is too good. They're going to continue to win. They got a tough series coming up. They got a tough road trip coming up. I know Houston hasn't been great, but they're still tough in their ballpark, and Detroit's good. But they got to worry about the Cubs. And they got, Jameson Taillon they're going against Monday night. Tuesday, Shota Imanaga, who I think is fantastic. Had a great rookie year last year coming over from Japan. And then Matthew Boyd's off to an incredible start right now. So, they'll go over if they think they can win a World Series. But at the end of the day, it's not going to get counted till after the season. And who knows, they may lop a guy off or move somebody in a trade that'll free up some money. We'll have to wait and see. But all the guys they have now, man, I want to keep. I don't want Arise to go anywhere. I like Luis Arise. He's not hitting like he normally does, but he will. I guarantee you he'll contend for a batting title again. Okay, that's going to wrap it up. Great show today. A lot of good stuff from you fans out there. Again, I want to thank you for watching. Please tell a neighbor that we got this podcast going. We try to get you great Padre information, and we deviate from other things once in a while to give you a little update on Dodgers, Angels. We talked a little today about the Masters and briefly just about the Lakers and Clippers. But I want to thank you for watching. Please subscribe, please like, and please send your questions. And the other thing I want to make sure you do is turn on your notifications so you don't miss even one episode of our podcast. Again, we're podcasting on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. You can follow me on YouTube, San Diego Sports Talk, John Kentera Show. You can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera, and you can follow me on X at Coach Kentera 44. Hope to see you at the ballpark. We'll be back in on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day and hopefully a great start to your week. Bye-bye.